Well, hop on to my flying Nimbus, because we really should get going.
You mean I can actually ride on this thing without falling?
Well, sure, but you do have to have a pure heart.
Oh, that's okay. When your dad's the Ox King, you always behave well.
I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life. I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibe. Got no time for bullshit in my life. Super Saiyan with this flow. Like Vegeta, my heart stay cold. Smoking on that Saiyan dope. Feeling like I'm on a Nimbus cloud, yo. I just want it all, I just wanna ball. Wanna go to the mall, not care about the cost. Puffin' on the dopest dope, in a sweet or raw. Hella high, singing catchy songs. My mind stay floating, smoking on this potent. Got my mind constantly going, has me going slow motion. Wanna be sipping Arizona tea, rolling up the finest weed. In San Diego, by the beach, living how I should be. I'm just trying to live my life, so my blunt and stay lit. Look at the drama, that's my mindset. Feeling good, just vibing. You can catch me smiling. I'm up in the clouds, I'm flying. Got no time for no bullshit or lying. I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life. I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibe. Got no time for bullshit in my life. Let's go, man. Fuck all that drama shit. Take me to my paradise with some video games, give me some double cheeseburgers, give me some good ass weed, and let's go.
Here we are back, another episode of the Artistry of Podcast. And I think I'll probably do it like this, where it's kind of sporadic, you know. It's not going to be every week. It may be every week, but for the most part, I feel like just with me by myself, and I got so much other things going on. That's probably why I'm not going to do every week. But I'm definitely going to post as I feel inspired right now. I've been wanting to do an episode because I watched. What is it? A Quiet Place 2. So it's the sequel. So A Quiet Place. So I watched that, and it was like what's the name of that? And I got my fan in the background, so I don't know. I'm sure it's picking up that sound, but it's all good. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like real bad. But anyway. So I'm watching A Quiet Place 2. Here, let me take my shirt off. So I'm watching A Quiet Place 2, and it had the first one, it had a lot of potential. I mean, we see this time and 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 do everything turn, turn, turn. Do all the season turn, turn, and turn. Like, yo, we see this time and time again where we have a really good idea, right? We have a really, it's strong on its own. But because we don't do the extra homework, because we don't do the extra legwork to iron out the details, the finer details, I feel like things fall apart, right? So the dude who did I'm in Love with the Coco, that producer. Let's look him up, because I tell this story a lot to people, right? And because I feel that it's very important. Let's see. I'm in love with the Coco. All right. Now, I know that's OT Genesis. right? He's the one who put the lyrics and everything on the song, who wrote the song. But the producer, and I don't know why I have one bar. Like, of course, once you're trying to really do something, then you can't even freaking. You can't even do it, right? But that producer, here, let me slide it and turn it off, and then maybe turn it back on, and we'll I'm gonna say who he is because I feel like because you're not expecting greatness to happen. And another person we can talk about is Mathematics. He did the Wu-Tang symbol, right? And like I said, you're not expecting greatness to happen. You're not expecting anything that you do to be great. So what Mathematic did is he created the Wu-Tang symbol, and he sold it for, I think, $400 or $500. Let's say $400 to $700. I know it wasn't $700, but let's say $400 to $700, right? Let's give him $1,000. Look, man, let's get a boy $1,000, man. Shout out to Mathematics, because the symbol is top notch. Like, this is no diss to the big homie, right? Because he is a big homie to me. But Mathematic, he sold it, right? But when you're not expecting greatness, right? Because you're not expecting greatness, then what happens is you sell it for that price. It goes off and it becomes one of the most iconic symbols in American history. Like, it is, I think the Wu-Tang symbol is up there with the swastika far as recognizability. And definitely it is up there with the swastika when it comes to urban culture. So urban culture, urban hip hop culture, it is up there. Hands down, no questions asked. The Wu-Tang symbol can stand toe-to-toe with the swastika. You put the swastika up, and the swastika has a new meaning, right? The Nazis gave it a new meaning. So, boom, we put the swastika up. We put the Wu-Tang, the Phoenix, right? You put the Wu-Tang W up, and like automatically, it's people gonna know it's recognizable. Like it is up there, man. It is so to create a symbol that stands toe to toe with the swastika, and you only make $1,000, right? Not even $1,000. I really don't think he made $1,000, but you don't even make $1,000, and so that means the way that you set it up is so it's not about look. RZA, I'm gonna charge you $1 million. No. Look, only thing you can afford to give me is $400 or $1,000. But look, man, this symbol is great. So with that being said, with that in mind, here's the back end logistics on this, because when the people see it and it becomes the greatest symbol, ready to rival any other symbol out in American culture and the world, right? When it's up there, look, what am I going to get? And that's so if he knew that, okay, man, I'm about to create like, look, man, this is the greatest American symbol. No other symbol is greater than the Wu-Tang symbol in America, like that was made in America. Like it's up, like you talk about America, you talk about jazz music, right? America created jazz music. America created the Wu-Tang symbol. And when we say that, it's like, all right, so who created jazz? And it's like, all right, we got Buddy Bolden, right? Well, who created the Wu-Tang symbol? We got Mathematic, right? So you can argue with Buddy Bolden, man. Nah, it was Richie Guy created jazz, right? Richie Guy was doing it, and Nipsey Bone created jazz, right? So it's going to be argument. It's definitely going to be argument. It was going around, and so many other people was putting input on it and that's how it gained traction, right? But there is no argument when it comes to that Wu-Tang W, right? We know who did it. One person did it. There's no argument. But he wasn't. He didn't set it up for greatness, right? And that's what we're talking about. Because he didn't set it up for greatness. Because he didn't set it up, and he wasn't thinking that he was going to produce something that iconic, that would stand up there with baseball when it comes to American culture. Like that Wu-Tang W is up there, man. It is, like I said, it is the number one most iconic symbol ever created in America. And when I say iconic, I just mean recognizable throughout the world and throughout urban culture. There's other symbols that's created, and there's going to be symbols that's going to be created today, tomorrow, and 2 weeks from now. And those are going to be great symbols. But I'm just saying that Wu-Tang W, because of what it represented, because of the branding and because of the music and the movement that elevated that symbol, right? And if Mathematic knew or even just thought, look, it could potentially do something like this, boom, I'm going to take this $400. I'm going to take this $100. I'm going to take $20, but I want some type of residual. Like I want something that's going to equate to the magnitude, the large scale, if it should ever get there. So that's all I'm saying, is that we need to prepare for greatness. We never, like, you never know when greatness is going to come, right? What was the movie? Man, it's like a new movie, Mark Wahlberg. And he's talking about like skipping lives or whatever. I can't think of that movie, but it's on Amazon. It was a pretty good movie. But in that movie, he says, talking about destiny and everything. He says, man, I got rent to pay. I got bills to make. I got bills to pay, and I got rent to make. I don't have time for destiny. Boom. Look, we're going to have to leave it. We're going to have to just, that's the intro right there, okay? I got bills to pay. I got rent to make.
Everyday life, friends and family makes up the artist's dream.
Right? He's like, look, man, I don't got time for destiny, right? I don't got time for greatness. So it's not like we out there and we out there looking for greatness. No. Greatness comes to you. Greatness is coming to you. It's coming to all of us. Greatness comes to all of us. Just sometimes we just don't see it. We can't see it. Just like Mathematic couldn't see it. Let's check out I'm in Love with the Coco. All right, we're putting it in. I reset my phone, so that's what. So we got, OT Genesis is the lyricist, the artist, which he did a banging job on that. Let's see the producer. All right, let's see who made it, because I want to say that he sold it. He sold it for, so Juice 808. So Juice 808, he produced it. And I want to say that he sold it for like $250 or $500. Let's see. So Juice 808. Let's see if it tells me the story. So no, it doesn't tell me, but we know Juice 808 produced it. I want to say that he sold it for like $200. Let's give him $200 to $1,000, right? And there's producers right now, they're selling beats for whatever, even some of them put the beats up on YouTube for free, and people can use them however they want, right? That's all good. I'm not saying that you need to create a barrier for your product to even get out. No, get your product out there, but set something up in case greatness just so happens to show up at your door, right? So because we just have to expect it, right? Expect that the artistry of podcasts is going to be as great as Joe Rogan's, the Joe Rogan experience, right? Expect it to be that way. If it doesn't, okay, all right, that's good. Look, man, I got my 8 people who listen to the artistry of, that's cool. But if tomorrow it turns into 8 million people, it turns into 80 million listeners, 300 million listeners worldwide, I'm ready. I'm ready for that greatness. So whether I have 8 people or 800 million people or 8 billion people listening, like, I'm ready, right? So no matter what we do, we always have to set it up. We have to set it up for greatness. Set up, and whatever you do, prepare for it to be greater than what you can even imagine. My book, Round One Fight, I'm very proud of it. And it's set up. So if next month or whatever, when I die, let's say when I die, it just explodes and it sells 80 million copies. 80 million copies when I die. Like, it's set up to where my family can reap those benefits. It's set up to where it's, no matter if it doesn't even take off maybe 200 years from now, it's set up to where my family can, whoever my descendants are 200 years from now, they're going to be able to benefit from it. Now, let's say it doesn't. Let's say that it just falls to the wayside, like some book that was created 800 years ago or 1,000 years ago that was burned and no one ever knows. Okay, all right, right? So we have those two extremes, but definitely prepare and be ready for greatness. It may not come. It may come. Look, either way, I'm ready. So I bring that up because as I'm watching A Quiet Place, and I also want to talk about loss. So after we talk about preparing for greatness, and then we'll hit loss, because not just death, right? Because we lose people in our lives that's important all the time, and then they don't die. Like, they just go on their own separate ways. People do whatever they want to do, and boom, now they're no longer available to us, right? So we're not just talking about death. Let me take these batteries out of this thing, because we know batteries explode. And even though I don't use this little device, I picked this up so that I could record on my iPad. So because I was like, look, I'm going to just start editing on my iPad. So this is the iRig Pro, but I don't even use it. I don't use it because I just didn't like the quality versus. So right now I use the Zoom. So every episode of this podcast has been done on the Zoom H4n, and they have new Zooms out, and I like those. And Fid, my co-host, right? He's still my co-host. I talked to him. He's getting better. He's on his own now, right? So he's out of the nursing home. So he's doing a lot better. And we was recording on, I think, the HN6 or the HN8. Like, he picked up a Zoom 6 and an 8 input one. So we was recording on that. So, but all those episodes were done on the Zoom, and I used like a Shure mic. Now this mic, this is like my favorite mic, and I think after like our first or second, after our first episode together, he was like, "Nah, man, I'm gonna have to pick up one myself," because man, this microphone is top notch. It really is. So when it comes to like recording, this is a solid mic, a solid live mic. This is the best live mic that you can get, and I want to say, well, it is not the best that you can get. I'm sure you can get some better live microphones, but this is tested, right? This is up there, okay? The top 5, this is going to be in the top 5 best live microphones that you can have. And I remember I did the talent show. I have it on YouTube. And I remember I did it, and I knew, right? So I knew that, okay, look, I need a mic because, you know, you go to these talent shows and people like, yeah, everybody, let me let you know how it is out there in the street. Look, man, running to deep, running in the bottom of the told y'all. That's how the streets is ever been. Like, yo, what in the world is he saying, right? So that's how usually microphones are, especially when you go to these local talent shows. And I think the first time I went, you know, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of information, and I got booed off the stage. I talked about what happened. But the second time, I was like, all right, I need to correct the microphone because you can't even hear me, right? So you can't even understand what I'm saying. So that's going to put me light years ahead. So I brought this mic, and I do the talent show, and I'm like, yo, he tried to give me his crappy mic, his bullshit ass mic. I'm like, nah, yo, dummy. Like, yo, dumbass. Nah, man. So I'm like, yo, dummy. Nah, I got my own mic. He like, yo, he was surprised. What? Wait, what? He looked at me. Like, yo, plug this in. God, plug this in, God. So we get the mic and boom. I mean, you are like, it did what I wanted it to do. It did what I wanted it to do. And I think the guy next to me was like, yo, who went after me? Man, can I use that mic? Nah, yo, dumbass. Nah, dummy. Like, nah, dumbass. That ain't gonna happen. So just using the mic, this is a solid mic, right? Still, we're just talking about preparing for greatness. I don't really know where this was going with the mic, but we was talking about the HN, my equipment that I use. So that's what I use here, and I like it. I'm gonna continue to use it. But back to preparing for greatness. So now we're talking about the Quiet Place. We're returning to A Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place 1, it was solid. Like, yo, it was solid. I liked it. It was a good movie. They left a lot of things up in the air, right? Where did the creatures come from? Blah, blah, like a backstory. And only because the backstory wasn't developed. It just wasn't developed, which you didn't need the backstory. Like, you didn't need it in the setting because, boom, we just get dropped in this world and we're adapting just like everybody else, right? We're new. We don't know how long the people have been around that's dealing with this conflict, but they're dealing with it the best way they can. And just from trial and error, so they learn some things. So boom, now we're in this world, right? And you can't be faulted for that. That was solid, yo. That first one, it was solid. It was solid. The second one comes around. The second one tries to explain. All right, now this is going to be spoilers. So if you want to, I'm not going to spoil the end of the movie, but just some basic development, story, plot line, and the backstory, that's going to be spoiled. So that's your spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear about that, I would say probably skip about 10 minutes or whatever. Well, I don't know how much you need to skip. You probably just stop listening. Stop listening to this episode right now and go watch it. And then come back. But if you don't mind, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Quiet Place 2, he attempts to tell the backstory, right? He wants to tell the backstory and how they came to this planet and just the whole shebang, right? The whole enchilada. Okay, all right. So we have the creature, we have a meteor, right? We have a meteor coming in. We see they're at a baseball game, and we see the meteor is coming into the atmosphere, which that was fire. It looked fresh. It looked, it was cool. And it hits somewhere close by, or whatever. And I mean, it's a huge meteor, and I want to say that this was happening all over the world, right? So it wasn't just America that this thing hit. It hit in different parts of the world, right? Different, I guess, because as far as I know it, that their home world blew up, right? So their home world blew up, and this is the remnants crashed down on the planet. And it hits during the baseball game, and while people are going to their cars, right, while they're in town, so this is probably maybe an hour later, boom, now the killing begins. An hour later, so the home world blew up, right? Because look, movies, I feel like when you set up a groundwork for something, it has to make sense. Like it has to make sense. So let's say you say that, okay, Santa Claus exists in this world. Okay, well, we're going to follow you with this. Santa Claus exists. All right. Now, Santa Claus, he has magic. That's why he can come down the chimney. Okay. Santa Claus, he has magic. That's why he can do his the sled, right? That's all of this stuff works off of magic. Okay. All right. I'm with you. It works off of magic. Now, like, where is the magic coming from, though? Right? Because I'm with you with the Santa Claus. I'm with you with Santa. I'm not saying that, Santa's not real. No. I'm saying that, okay, Santa's real in this world, in this story. So we're gonna let's work with this then. Okay, Santa's real. Santa's got, now, is this unlimited magic? Is the world filled with magic then? Is magic like oxygen? Now, if you tell me, yes, magic is like oxygen, so that's why it's unlimited. Santa has unlimited access, just like we breathe. That's how Santa runs his magic. Okay, all right, I'm with you. So if magic is like oxygen, then something is grabbing something and pumping magic into the air, right? It has to be a tree, right? The tree, we breathe out carbon dioxide. The tree brings it in, and the tree breathes out oxygen, right? So if magic is like oxygen, then something is going in and magic is coming out from something, right? So now this creates a story. Now we can create, the Christmas that almost wasn't, or the Christmas that the year Christmas was canceled. And it'll talk about how one of the disgruntled elves got mad with Santa, and it was Santa's number one elf. It was Santa's number one elf, and some new elf came along, and that elf started to get whatever, right? And started getting more attention than this number one elf, and the elf wasn't feeling important. The elf wasn't feeling like he was important to Santa, and he became disgruntled, and he wanted to destroy all of the trees or whatever that makes magic endless. So the magic started to dwindle, and Santa had to rescue and stop that and restore the magic balance back together, right? So that's not real, but working along with the foundation that was given, okay, that makes sense. So now we go back to this Quiet Place 2. You tell me that the planet blew up. So, all right, that means, look, the planet, it wasn't in our galaxy. Let's say it was one of Saturn's moons or Jupiter's moons, right? It was Titan. Titan had some creatures on there, and it blew up. Some of them went into Jupiter, and some of them came over here, and it made it, they started hitting other planets, and we got a few of them that landed and hit Earth, right? So let's say that you said, look, it got knocked off, something happened with Jupiter, and the whole moon got shifted and moved from its gravitational pull, and then as it started to make its way through the asteroid belt, it took some damage, and that's what destroyed it, and boom, we got hit with a whole bunch of them, right? So, okay. So, all right. So how long did that take, right? Now, this has an atmosphere, right? Titan or Euphoria or whatever, you just pick a moon. It don't matter. But it has an atmosphere. Let's say it doesn't have an atmosphere, right? Or it has like a low atmosphere, so that, it doesn't breathe in anything. It just lives in the void. It lives in the ether. Okay, all right, I get that. Now, when it comes into some place with the atmosphere, with oxygen, right? Because if you're able to sustain and live outside of oxygen, so then that means when you come into oxygen, it has to change. It has to do something to you. It just has to. Like, that's just like we live in oxygen. So when we go into water, look, we have a problem. Things that live in water, when it comes out into oxygen, it has a problem. We do have those creatures who can hold their breath for very long periods of time. Okay, boom, we have that. Let's say that your story is that these... So that's the first thing, right? There's a lot of holes in the Quiet Place 2 origin story, right? There's a lot of holes in it. But let's just... We're just starting with, with the basic, this thing lands, right? So it takes, it's able to survive the impact of the earth, right? So the heat, like the heat of entering the earth's atmosphere and the speed and all of that, it's able to survive the crash. It's able to survive just all of this stuff, right? Okay. So it's very durable. It's very strong. So then now, okay, so it evolved. Right? Or you say like, yo, no, the devil created it, right? It's like instead of Adam and Eve, the devil created this species. So it's not evolution based. Okay, it's not evolution based. And it's like, all right, okay, I can get with that. It's not evolution based. So then if it can't see, but the hearing is very adapt to where, loud sound just wants to kill. But as you can see, there's so many holes in the development of these monsters, of these creatures. When you just look at them and you start to just break down, okay, because at face value, it's solid. They are a top-notch creature. They're a top-notch creature. They really are. A good monster. Whoever created the monster, you did a good job. I'm not saying that you didn't do a good job. You did an excellent job. This is a very good monster. But I feel like you dropped the ball on preparing for greatness, because if it was just one movie, if it's just A Quiet Place 1, okay, boom. All right, boom, that's it. And we as the viewers, we get to come up with all of this stuff ourselves. But it was so well received that it garnered it a sequel, right? There we have it for greatness. Because of that sequel and you not preparing for greatness, then we get some bullshit ass sequel. We get bullshit development. We get a bullshit origin. We get all of that is just bullshit. And it's because you were not prepared. You were not thinking of greatness. You were, look, man, let me just go ahead and pump out this. This is a good idea for a monster movie. And it is, right? It's a good idea for a monster movie. It was. You pump it out there and the people are like, yo, nah, we want another one. We want to spend a little bit more time in this world. And instead of taking the time, right, this whole COVID time, because that's why they was holding it. They was sitting on it because of COVID. Look, man, we want to get out in the theaters. Movies not doing well. Look, man, take the time, put your work in like Zack Snyder. And during this time, let's look, man, that origin story that we cooked up real fast is some bullshit. Like, yo, that's just some trash. That's some trash. We need to, during this COVID time, since we're not going to release this movie for another year or two, let's go ahead and kind of shoot and because it's not, you can do a cartoon. Like you don't even have to put it to where you got to do animation. Look, we got to send it down the pipeline, and we need Avatar like budget. Nah, for origin story. No, Game of Thrones shown us you don't even have to do full animation. You can do like Reading Rainbow style animation, where it's just a set backdrop, 2D, and you get a meteor coming down, kind of like a book animation. And that would have been sufficient enough, but you had to cook up a good story. You had to cook up a good origin story so that this sequel, because the sequel is setting up for more. There's going to be a third one, right? But you already dropped the ball on the second one. So what are we doing with the third one? So now it's just downhill, and we see this time and time again, that things that we put out there, because we're not setting up for greatness, because we're not preparing for greatness, because we don't see greatness in what we do, we put something out there, and when it hits and people want more, it's like, man, I really wasn't prepared to give you more. I just know, man, we gotta prepare for greatness. We just have to. So that's what I'm telling you guys, to prepare for greatness, right? And so, like I said, just from the surviving of the impact for those monsters, okay? How did they survive? Because I don't want to hear that, yo, it's a movie. So nah, I ain't trying to fuck that. I ain't trying to hear that. I'm with you that this monster doesn't exist. So from that point, this isn't real. Okay, I'm with you on that. But logistically, it has to make sense. It has to. That's you have to. It has to make sense. So even if your story is the devil created this, boom, then that's it. Then that's your story. That makes sense now. Okay? So now we're not based on evolution, because the devil created it is the same as saying that man created it. Man created this thing. Let's say, we're always giving China a bad rep. Let's say America. America created this thing to kill, to defend humans, just in case if some intergalactic being were to come and attack us, right? So that's the same as saying the devil created it. Just something created it and took into account all of these things that it need. Look, it's going to need to survive heat. It's going to need to be bullet resistant. It's going to need to, it's going to need to be able to be fast and just real efficient at killing humans and anything. It can kill anything that pretty much makes a loud sound. So something created it, right? It was created for this thing. Boom. All right. Okay. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. But don't try to give me some evolution, right? Don't try to give me some science base. And in your mind, you're thinking, this is we're going on a theologic path, right? So if it was created by one thing with the purpose of killing, well, then tell me that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to hear, yo, man, it's a movie. So, we just got, nah. If that's good enough for you, then okay. That's good enough for you. That's fine with me. I don't need to convince you that it needs to make sense. But for me, it needs to make sense. Like, that shit needs to make sense. Okay, you have an equation. It needs to check out, right? Those two equations need to be equal. Right? This equation needs to be solved. Like, don't give me some bullshit and be like, well, once the whole purpose is for it to be unsolvable and for you to find out that it's unsolvable. Okay. All right. It's one of those trick ones. Okay. All right. Well, let me know that. All right, guys, we're about to take this exam. Some questions are trick questions. They cannot be solved. Right? So you have to find out which one. Okay, boom. Now let me know. Okay, right there, you're still making sense of an equation that cannot be solved. So And again, like I said, we're just preparing for greatness. When you create something, no matter what it is, prepare for greatness. Prepare for it to be, for people to want more. Even if they don't. Like, yo, Quiet Place 1 could have just been a dud. Right? It could have just went in like, what they say, Suicide Squad, the new one. Right? They're saying that the new Suicide Squad is a dud, which I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. The new Suicide Squad is a solid kick-ass movie. But the numbers tell a different story. So we may not get to revisit this world again, which would be a shame, because I feel like they improved on the problems of the first one, right? Of course, we have a different director, the same director who did Guardians of the Galaxy, and you can see a lot of that influence in this movie. You can see it. He even has the cast members from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, yo, he wasn't playing. Like, look, man. Look, everybody from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 who were not bound to Marvel, look, man, we doing this DC movie. And everybody was like, all right, look, man, let's do it. And I feel like they did a kick-ass movie. They did a kick-ass movie. It was solid. It was a good movie. Now, I would love to revisit that world. But if we never revisit that world, it's okay. But let's say we do with these directors, because the source material is so vast and so great that, boom, they're ready. Look, man, if it did the numbers required to grant a sequel, the source material is ready. Look, boom, let's cook it up. Every last villain or anti-hero in that movie, boom, they're ready to get their own movie, right? Which we know that I think if it gets a sequel, they'll probably face Superman. So if it gets a sequel with this cast and this team, if they get a sequel, they'll probably face Superman in the next Suicide Squad, right? They'll face Superman or Batman, or right, and they'll help Superman become good again, or however it'll have to be. But the source material is there. It's already prepared for greatness. And that's what we have to do. Right? So, and when we look at the creatures, like I said, it was just so, it's just so many things that I feel like, man. And that takes away from the movie, because when that stuff isn't answered, so they can survive the void of space, right? They can survive that. They don't need oxygen for that. They come down on Earth and they can survive that. They don't have a problem. They can breathe oxygen. They're underwater for a long time. In the first one, right? He was getting his little sneaky man on. Ugh. Na 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 na. He underwater, like, make him say na 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 na. And part 2, they drop into the ocean. They can't swim, so they drown. All right. So when he drops into a deep, so if the water's deep enough, so what you're telling me is, okay, if he has to just crawl, alien style, alien style, alien style. So if he got to crawl underwater, alien style, he all right? He can be under there. Look, man, he holding his breath for a long time. So, and he can't see. So his hearing is that great even underwater, right? So their hearing is top notch. Even underwater, they can they can hear, move, they're like Daredevil, right? When it comes to sound, they see through hearing. Okay, all right. But when it's too deep to where they can't feel the ground, then they panic and then they drown. Damn, dog. Dumbass. Like, yo, man. Right there, that slipped up, man. Come on, dog. Because you did that so that you can have like some type of safe haven or safe place for humans, right? So you got an island, but it's all an island, right? So we have this safe pocket, but the aliens, they make it over and they start causing havoc again, and the hearing is their downfall as well, which we learned in the first one. That hearing aid, it amplifies the type of sound and it really messes them up to where the hearing is like amplified to the umpteenth level, and then they mess, boom, they can't even handle it no more. Right? So something with the hearing and loud volume. So any type of sound, I guess it does something to them, and they just want to kill and stop it because they're not killing for food, right? They're not killing for food. They're not eating their victims. They're just killing. Look, this sound is too much. Well, in that instant, if sound is too much for them, then human ingenuity, even without that hearing aid, would have figured that, okay, look, sound is a problem. Well, let's see how much sound can they handle. Right. And like dog whistles, like that's just human ingenuity. Right. And so I'm not knocking any of the human characters in either movie because we know that it's just regular people that's figuring it out real time. So we don't have time to be quarterback. What is it? Monday night quarterback and with these monsters out here. We don't got time for that. Right. Monday night quarterback and deaths. Right. We get that a lot where somebody will die on YouTube or Instagram, and then people start to quarterback how they should have survived. Look, man, if Tupac would have ate the double cheeseburger, instead of mom's spaghetti, then, look, man, especially if he had extra onions on that double cheeseburger, then when he went back to change his clothes after stomping out Orlando Anderson, he'd have been too full, especially when you get extra grilled onions with that A1 sauce. It kind of makes you a little sluggish. And then, boom, he would have wanted to take a nap. And then Suge would have got in the car. Keefy D and the gang would have drove by. They would have been like, yo, man, where's Tupac? Everybody would have been like, yo, where's Tupac? Tupac, yo, man, he dealing with those extra grilled onions in that A1 double hitter quitter. Like, look, man, we can't quarterback deaths, right? So I'm not taking anything away from the actual humans in the movie. They all did what they were supposed to do. I'm just saying that the guy who created the monster, right, which the way he created it was he thought of, look, man, this is the perfect monster. Boom. So then give us that. That's the way that you thought of it. You just thought of the perfect monster. Man, the monster, look, man, needs to be able to be resistant to guns, missiles, fire. Like, this thing is like, so since you created it, we need something to create it, right? Don't just leave it up to science base. Because if that's not how you created it, then it's not going to be able to stand. It's not going to be able to stand. You can't create something in the theologic lane and try to lift it up and set it on science. No, it don't work. And if you create something scientifically in the scientific lane and then try to throw it over in the theologic lane, right? Maybe it probably could work then, because you could always say that, boom, it's just this one thing created it. All right, boom. And look, I'm going to go with it, right? That's just like we think of any of the monsters, Michael Myers, Jason, right? Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, okay? Now, Jason Voorhees runs off of evil magic. Michael Myers is a little It's a little obtuse. Look, I'm not really sure how he runs. I'm not really sure what he's running off of. Right? Michael Myers, look, he made a deal with the devil. Right? We got Freddy Krueger runs off of demonic magic. Okay. Chucky, another demonic magic. Right? So okay. Michael Myers, I don't know if he's demonic. I mean, okay, he kills, especially this reboot that they did. It just seems like he's a regular guy. He's an old guy. Like, look, man, I don't know about Mike, but look, man, it gets a little bit harder when you get older now. With stamina, he's not playing around. Like, yo, put this man in jiu-jitsu. Like, yo, he wasting his talent. He could be rich. He could be a millionaire with that endurance. With the endurance of Michael Myers, you got the endurance of Michael Myers out there. Like, yo, man, you wasting your talent, Mike. That's all I'm saying. You really wasting your talent, because here you are, you like 75. You're 75, and I mean, you putting up endurance numbers of like prime fit 20. I think I would say you're in your prime around like maybe 27. I feel like a 27-year-old, 25 to 27. I think that like they're going to be your most unstoppable guys. Like around, so that age, 27. And I know that, you get stronger as you get older. You hit like a strength peak at around 33 or 34, 35, or, between, I would say, up to about 37, right? You hit a strength peak. And then after that, it kind of goes down. So yeah, I think your heavyweights, is going to be around maybe 30 up to like 35 or 37. After that, you're definitely going to have some issues, mainly like your body. You're on the downhill, so you could still be winning, but yeah, you're definitely going to be on the downhill. But Big Mike is like fucking 75 years old, and he's up there. He has the strength of a world class. He has the strength of a world class weightlifter. 30, like a 37. Now I don't know the age of your strongest guys. We know the size, and they're big. So Mike, his physique is like Bruce Lee. Okay, so he's probably about what 6'3", 6'5", about 220. Because of his height, like he's lanky. He's not even shredded. He's not even shredded beef, right? He's not even a shredder out there. He's lanky, 75. Big Mike is 75, 6'5", 225 pounds, 235 pounds. Lank, though, not shredded beef. And he got the strength of like a world-class weightlifter, which we know those guys are huge. Like, those guys are huge. And he has the endurance of a 25-year-old, and he has the peak prime fight conditioning of a heavyweight that's about 37, 35. Let's put him about 35, right? Like, look, man, but he's not working off of demonic magic. So, look, man, I don't know. Like, you feel me? Like, yo, this shit is wobbly right now. Like, yo, come on. And on top of that, he has a mask that's severely restricting his vision. Like, yo, his sight, his line of sight is severely hindered. Okay, he put that mask on, man. Like, look, man, I don't know if any of y'all remember Halloween, like actually going around trick or treating, but you really can't see, man. Your peripherals is blazzacht, okay? Like something, man. I can't imagine trying to beat somebody up, right? Just a regular human, a regular foe with a mask on. Like I got my Michael Myers mask, which is what's the dude? William Shatner. I got my William Shatner mask on. I'm going around looking for victims. Like, nah, man, you about to have a bad day. You about to have a bad day because, look, boom, you just got hit. You didn't even see that on your blind side. Like, look, man, these goons out here, they can beat you up without a mask, and you getting hit. You got a blind side. Like, you have a blind side, okay? Michael Myers, he don't have a blind side. Like, yo, he has that mask on, but his mask is like Iron Man's mask. He has Jarvis in his William Shatner, man. He has William Shatner in there, actually, giving him a play-by-play, running it third person view, like, yo, like it's Top Gun. We got Charlie, 6 o'clock, Mike, like, like, oh man. So yeah. So, but we bring up Mike because Mike, he has so many. He's really standing on a wobbly platform now, with the reboot. So up until the reboot, I want to say that he was working off of demonic magic or some type of, maybe they was trying to study, or I'm sure it was definitely a group of old white guys got together and in harmony, holding hands, yelling out the chant, all they do eat them bella. Like, oh man, what's up with these white guys, man? When they come together and start holding hands and doing secret chants, like, yo, man, like I don't know if he's the devil, if he's Satan, rebirth, if he's some other demon that's locked. He's locked in this body. Like most demons, after the body dies, they can go get another one. But this demon is locked in this body for eternity, which once all humans are gone, I mean, it's going to be pretty lonely. Like, yo, that's a lonely existence. And all your other demon friends, like, yo, they even moved on. Yo, man, life sparked up on Mars again, so we headed over to Mars. But you got Big Mike. He like, yo, man, I can't get over there. Like, like yo, man. Love and friendship compels me to stay on this planet and just ride it out until the sun becomes a supernova, or what do they call it? The big puff, and then it shrinks down to a white dwarf. Right, so yeah. That Mike is definitely floating on a wobbly. He's definitely standing on a wobbly grounds. Okay, but it's still good. It's still good. Look, man, we watch him get his kill on, and we don't ask how he came to be, because they didn't tell us how he came to be. Right, but with The Quiet Place, they told us, and so that's the problem. Right, so we're talking about preparing for greatness. We got Mike Myers, who's definitely on a wobbly ground. If you want to know how he came about, but they like, yo, man, we don't know how he came about, so we ain't even going to tell y'all what he's running on. Then you have Jeepers Creepers, right? Jeepers Creepers, the first one, fire. I saw that as a grown up, right? Jeepers Creepers probably came out. Let's see when Jeepers Creepers came out. Jeepers Creepers came out, I want to say it was like 2004, 2006. Let's see, but definitely a kick-ass movie, man. That Jeepers Creepers released 2001. All right, and that's what I was thinking, because I want to say that that was when I was married. My first wife was Jeepers Creepers 1. So that means I was in my 20s, and I remember like, yo, this is a little on the scary side, like, because I've seen so many horror movies that it's like, all right, okay. But that one, it was definitely like it had some good moments, some good scary moments, and I remember the creeper, or I think that's what they call them. Like it was just solid. It was solid. But again, he wasn't ready for greatness, right? He wasn't prepared for greatness because whenever they throw in, an origin, right? Like when Freddie was getting it in, when Jason was getting it in. So Jason is boom. He drowned as a boy. So when he comes back, you already know that boom. All right, this is some demonic partying is going on right now. Okay, we got some demonic partying right now. What is it? Some demonic mud pie right now. Okay, all right, boom. And so you already know. You don't say like, yo, nah, I want to see the origin. You don't say that because they already let you know that he died, so he's back, he's a ghost, or look, man, he's just out here. All right, look, man, I don't know why my brother is an alcoholic. Like, yo, man, life is cold outside, okay? Like, yo, it's cold outside. That's what happened. All right. Freddie was murdered. All right, yo, Freddie was murdered. So boom, right? Mike Myers. Okay, look, but those first ones, when you watch them, they don't even really, they just look, man, he just went crazy, right? Yo, they kind of tell you, he's just a serial killer. He's a human. He's a serial killer. He take a few gunshots, but he keep coming. After like the fifth, after so many near escapes of death, it's like you got to say like, oh, what's going on? And then they tried to address that, and I think that's where it falls. And it falls mainly because if you're trying to create an origin story, which they moved away from that, they moved away from the origin, right? Like they know that. Look, man, we are in no position to create an origin story, so let's just focus on what the people want. People want to see deaths, so let's just rack up these deaths, right? Boom, Jeepers Creepers, we get the deaths, but they throw in a little bit of origin mystery, and that's when it just falls apart, right? Because it exposes that the guy who did it, who created the creeper, he really didn't expect Jeepers Creepers to be as big as it was. So he wasn't prepared for greatness when he did Jeepers Creepers. He wasn't prepared because, all right, he throw in the lore, which is good. Like lore is good. All right, every 26. What is it? Every 20 years for 26 days, the creeper gets to eat, or something like that. It's something along those lines, and that sounds good. Like, yo, boom, okay, that's good. And then we just talking about the first one. All right, boom, that's good. And we might have to do one of those movie speed runs on Jeepers Creepers. That was like the first two were really good. I liked them. They were good in the sense of, okay, what are we getting? We're getting tense moments. We're getting people that are scared. Boom. You can't go wrong with that. Okay? You can't go wrong with that. But I think, locked into those first two with that, for every 20 years and blah, blah, with that comes, okay, origin. It screams origin. Like you want to know the origin. And just the way that, like the third one, it just lets you know that, like, yo, he really didn't have an origin. And he's trying to put together an origin, but this is last minute. Look, man, you already got 2 films out. Now you trying to think of an origin? And that origin that you did, like, yo, that was super trash. Like, that was trash. So, again, another example, right? The Matrix, another example. Like, yo, countless examples of people not expecting not expecting greatness. And the whole point of this is not only to relive some of these good horror movies that we've seen throughout the years, but it's to also encourage us to expect greatness, right? Like I expect greatness. Everything I do, I expect greatness. Like everything. Like, and if it doesn't happen, that's cool. Like it's still great. It's still great. But if it is critically and financially acclaimed, then boom, look, man, we ready to run. Like you look at George R.R. Martin, right? Like he was expecting greatness. Now when he did the first book, it was a lot of holes in there, right? So after he did the first book and all of these characters that he created so many characters, it was a lot of holes. So boom, he partnered up with a couple fans of his books that was like diehard fans, and they was asking him questions. Yo, what's up with this person and this person? And he, so he partnered up with them, and they actually kind of fleshed out a lot of those subplots and flushed out the history, right? Because he created so many characters. But he created it with the intent of greatness, like not just that it was going to be financially great, but he intended it to be, I want to say that he actually intended it to be financially great. And the reason why I say that, because he was thinking of Lord of the Rings, right? Which was huge. The Tolkien, just huge, like just gigantic, right? And he worked on a lot of series, Outer Limits, which I really liked, and Twilight Zone, and some other TV shows, anthologies. So he was already thinking of a lot of stories of an anthology. He worked on those shows, so when he writes, he's thinking of a show. He's thinking, okay, how does this translate? Now, of course, he knows that it's going to be changed. Like he understands the difference between book and film, so he knows the changes, right? That boom, and it's like, look, I don't have to worry about doing it myself, but he's done it. He's done stories and then converted it to film. So he's already prepared for greatness when he goes in to start writing Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire. Right? So, boom. Prepare for greatness. I do want to touch on the loss because I feel like it's important. Right? And, I experienced loss. And I remember, not even my mom and my dad and my friends, Dennis and Derek and TK, not even thinking about them, and family, right? Family as well. My cousin Dante and my aunt, right? Brenda. Not even just thinking of that, but just people who just move on, like people who move out of your life by their own choice. And it's hard sometimes when you really think about it, because it's like, man, what happened? I don't know. I remember when I first got to school, first got to West Virginia State University. It was West Virginia State College. And I think I did a year, right? And then so at the end of the year, it was me, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was from Philly. And we wasn't roommates, right? So my roommate, his name was Charlie. He was a good guy. And actually, I think I talked about Charlie because the girl that I liked, Nicole, she was like, she said no, I didn't, I don't date short guys, right? Because I liked her, she was like at the time, one of the most beautifulest women that, girls, because we were young, that I ever seen. So, I really liked her. I was really physically attracted to her. And I felt like there was a connection, right? I felt like there was more than just physical connection. I liked her personality. I felt like she liked mine. And I remember, talking to her, and I don't know if I actually tried to come at her and yo, I like you. I want to be with you. I think I did because I think she was saying I don't date short guys. I don't like short guys, right? I don't like short guys. But my roommate Charlie was short. He was short, and I remember her saying like, after, so this is after she told me like, yo, nah, I don't like short guys. And then she was like, oh, Charlie is so sexy. Like, oh man, like yo, so that means that short guy shit was some bullshit because Charlie is shorter than me. So then, but that taught me something in itself. That taught me that it's all about time. So somebody tell you that they don't like you at let's say 4 o'clock, 5 minutes after 4 p.m. That doesn't mean that they're going to say the same thing at 4:20 a.m. Right? You might get a different response. So time is like location, right? Location. Time. So no matter what it is you want from a person, it's all about the time. It's all, look, man, that's all it is, right? When you talk about business, location. When you talk about people, time. Somebody might tell you they don't like you in April. Come September, look, man, it might be a little bit different. So she taught me that because like, yo, you saying you don't like short guys, but boom, Charlie's sexy. You gonna mess with Charlie? Charlie's short, right? Now, I think she ended up getting with a tall guy who was cool. I knew him. He was cool, a good guy, and I really hope that they're together and everything's okay. You know how those young relationships are. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to really navigate through young relationships, but I definitely send them the best. But if I had my way, like I would have definitely married her, and probably I would have got a divorce because I was young. So we would have got a divorce, but I would have definitely married her, and I would have definitely tried to impregnate her. but the loss, right? The loss is when people that you they just out of your life for whatever reason. And I remember dealing with that as a young tyke, right? Like, yo, we was cool. Like, how come, we don't even talk? Yo, you just staying away? Like, what's up? Well, I got a homie like that now. For no reason at all, this nigga is just gone. Like, yo, what's up, dog? Like, yo, like, and it really just baffles me because I'm thinking like, I mean, we was cool. Like, yo, what's the problem? And I remember he just called me out of the blue one day. And I'm like, my number is the same. So he called me, and I'm like, yo, how you get my number? Oh, I always had it. Well, if you always had it, why the fuck you ain't called fucking 1 year ago, 2 years ago? Like, yo, what's going on, right? So some people, they just make the choice to leave out of your life and separate themselves from you, and you can't hold on to that. No matter whatever reason, whatever they're going through, whatever you said or whatever, you just gotta let it go, right? So this guy who, so like I said, me and Charlie, we were roommates, and me and Charlie was good. Like, yo, I like Charlie. And I think, he was on that, I want to say he was on that Thug Life Scholarship. Thug Life Scholarship only good for one semester, maybe 1 year. And then after that, boom, you out of college. You really, look, man, college ain't for me. I'm tired of failing all these goddamn tests, right? So, so he, look, he checked out for whatever reason. Like I said, Charlie was cool, but me and this other dude, Izzy, yeah, that's his name. That was his name, Izzy. But I don't know, like, what was his real name. But I want to say that, like, yo, we called him Izzy. He was from Philly, and we were talking like, yo, we was gonna be roommates, right? At the end of the year, like, yo, you just switch up and, yo, you become my roommate and boom, we'll be roommates, right? So we're talking, and it was also because he was cool with this dude named Joe. Now, Joe was from Baltimore, and Joe at the time, like, yo, Joe he sang, he was like a male version of Lauryn Hill. So he was heavily influenced by Lauryn Hill. And like, yo, I love listening to Joe sing. Like, it's crazy. But just wish that, you know, I would have been in a position to really like put him on the map and like really get the world so that the world could hear him sing, because I haven't heard anybody sing like that since, right? So like, yo, that was fire. That was fire. That was unique. That was a uniqueness. All right, yeah, you sound like Lauryn Hill, but you're a guy. And so you have like a male, like, because Lauryn Hill kind of, when she sings in like a baritone or alto, right? But like an alto baritone close to a lower register. So to hear a guy do it, which is going to be even lower, right? Like, yo, it was fire. Like, it really was fire. You know, but so Izzy and Joe was cool. And then me and Joe got cool. So then boom. So then Izzy, eventually me and him, we got cool, right? So he's like, yo, all right, we're going to be roommates. And then we was on our way to, we was walking to, what is it? Like Go-Mart, which is like a gas station in West Virginia, right? It's at the end of the year. I want to say it was either summer, because we was in a summer session or whatever. So we're walking, and somehow, some way, you know, we get on to, I guess, like hood politics or whatever. So we get on to hood politics, and I just remember him saying, like, you know, like, oh, you don't know where I'm from, and you don't know what I've been through, and, you know, which I don't, right? I don't. But like, I'm never the one who hold grudges. Like, I don't have a problem having a disagreement with somebody or not thinking the same way as somebody and moving on. But Izzy didn't move on. He didn't move on. So like, boom, nah, man, we ain't gonna be roommates. Like, yo, all right, well, you know, look, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess, right? So, and then I want to say that, boom, eventually Izzy faded out, right? So we didn't even talk, and it's just crazy, right? But things like that will happen in your life, right? You'll have a disagreement. And so that one I was able to see, right? Like I could trace back to that. And I remember my first wife, like I remember her talking about it like later on, because we wasn't even married yet. But I remember her talking about it later on and saying, she was like, yeah, you know, he said that, I don't even know, like he said maybe that, I don't know if I came at him sideways or, you know, if I'm arrogant or, you know, something, right? He definitely had some issue with me based off of that one conversation. But it's like, what about all the other conversations, right? All those other things that we're in tune with. All right, like, yo, I don't know how you grew up. Okay. I don't need to know how you grew up. Like you don't know how I grew up, and you don't need to know how I grew up. You'll know what I tell you, and you believe it or don't believe it. So it's all good. Like, yo, if you don't believe it, that's all good. Like, and I remember like even thinking, like, because I grew up rough. Like, it's only like a few of us who grew up where I grew up in Baltimore on the east side. Just like, yo, like it was ridiculous. It was lawless out there. And there's a few of us who grew up like that, that's still around, right? And when we talk about it, like we all have the same experience. Like, yo, people do not believe. They don't believe that, like, yo, the shit that we've been through. And I remember like when I was in college and, you know, just talking about some of my, you know, experiences. And I remember my homie John. Now he probably wasn't my homie at the time, but I remember him giving me like one of those faces like nigga, you lying, right? And I remember just feeling like, yeah, cool. Like, yo, like yo, it's all good. You don't have to believe me. Like, I don't care. It's all good. Like, because once you get away from your environment, your area, and you tell these stories and people, however, like, yo, so many people don't believe you. It's like, yo, well, cool, it's cool. Like, so I already got to that space, right? But But just that loss, so like I said, with Izzy, I was able to kind of see, all right, it stemmed from that. But some of my other homies that I grew up with, it's like I don't know that moment. I don't know what was that conversation, and they was like, yo, man, nah, man, look, Bo, I don't ever want to see this nigga again. I don't never want to talk to him again. Like, I don't know those moments, right? So I just have to think that we didn't have those moments, that it's something else, right? They never came out and said, yo, man, you know, on February the 13th, like, you feel me? Yo, man, you said you was going to come through for Valentine's Day. Like, you feel me? Like, yo, man, what's up? Like, it's girls that I broke up with and I don't talk to, and I know why. Okay, look, I was supposed to go and see her, and I stood her up. I didn't call, and she kept calling me, and you know, 2-3 weeks went by, and then I called her, and then she didn't call me no more. You feel me? So, but with guys, like, yo, I don't know. So you gotta tell me, right? But, you know, it was hard because you think about it, like, yo, man, we grew up together. Like, yo, man, what the fuck? So as you guys experience those types of losses where it's not death, it's just people, they just don't want to talk to you no more. They just don't want to be around you no more. It's okay. Like, you know, people, that happens. Look, we all have decisions, and this is a decision that you are making. And look, man, you got to make your decision. So with that being said, that's it. Look, man, we done put in an hour and 18. We hit them hard. Who knows when probably in the next couple of weeks. As far as I got the book and everything is going good there. So definitely check out round1fightbook.com. I want to say that's what it is. Round One Fight Book. Because I couldn't just get Round One Fight. So let's check this out. But definitely, yep. So it's round1fightbook.com. Check that out. If you guys haven't brought a copy of it, definitely think about it. Go there and look and see if that's something that you feel like that can help you expand your mind. It's not just about video games, which is based on, but I feel like just the strategy in itself is going to help you in life. I feel like the strategy that's covered in that book can help you with just strategic thinking in general, right? You want to think better. You want to become a better thinker. You want to become a more critical thinker. I feel like this book can help you with that. So with that being said, Reese's
Really? That's so sweet of you.
Well, hop on to my flying Nimbus, because we really should get going.
You mean I can actually ride on this thing without falling?
Well, sure, but you do have to have a pure heart.
Oh, that's okay. When your dad's the oxygen, you always behave well.
I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life. I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life. Super Saiyan with this flow. Like Vegeta, my heart stay cold. Smoking on that Saiyan bro. Feeling like I'm on a Nimbus cloud, yo. I just want it all. I just wanna ball. Wanna go to the mall, not care about the cars. Puffin' on the dopest dope in a sweet or raw. Hella high, singing catchy songs. My mind stay floating. Smoking on this potent. Got my mind constantly going. Has me going slow motion. Wanna be sipping Arizona tea. Rolling up the finest weed. In San Diego, by the beach. Living how I should be. I'm just trying to live my life. So my blunt and stay lit. Fuck out the drama, that's my mindset. Feeling good, just vibing. You can catch me smiling. I'm up in the clouds, I'm flying. Got no time for no bullshit or lying. I'ma kick back and have a good good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life. I'ma kick back and have a good time. Drama free, that's how I live my life. Inhale high, enjoying the vibes. Got no time for bullshit in my life.
Let's go, man. Fuck all that drama shit. Take me to my paradise. Give me some video games. Give me some double cheeseburgers. Give me some good ass weed. And let's go.